There is currently a project out there that has launched a token, has raised more money than the token is even worth, and is in the mobile gaming crypto space. Its name is Matr1X Fire, and today we're going to be going ahead and going over the whole shebang. Disclosure time. I am invested in this project. Figured you should know, and let's get right into it. So they raised $10 million back in September 27, 2022. And then they were like, okay, this ain't enough. Let's raise another $10 million here on Series A funding led by Hashkey Capital, Amber Group, Hanai Financial Investments, and more. Big ol' investment there. That's $20 million for a token that is currently worth $11 million. Very juicy here. Matr1X Fire, ticker symbol Fire, is the token we're talking about, with an NFT collection currently valued at what is a $6,600 or 1.92 ETH. And a total volume, this entire collection has done over 24,000 ETH. So what gaming projects do you personally know that have actually held these floor prices with this amount of volume? The answer is not a lot of them. And you're asking, how is this even possible? Well, it's possible because of the fact that this project has 1 million unique active wallets in the last 30 days. A lot of people are interacting with what Matr1X Fire is building here. And even looking here on DApp Radar, of course, just don't listen to the volume and balance, but they've done over 1 million transactions per day. This is 24 hours. Past 7 days, who even knows? But this little line, it's looking pretty good. A lot of people interested in Matr1X Fire. We actually got ahead. We got a gift from the team while I was doing research here, so I did want to shout that out. I think their merch is awesome, and happy Chinese New Year. Now, let's get into negative catalysts and positive catalysts for this Fire token. So, why did this Fire token have negative price action? Well, to be honest with you, I mean, it launched at a higher price, it corrected all the way down to 86 cents, and now it's at $1.25, looking like it wants to hit new all-time highs. That's like the truth of it all. But if you wanted me to give you that bearish scenario, they had at some point, this was back in February, you could see it right here, NFT stakers had an early unlock. If you staked your Matr1X 2061s and YATCs, you had an early Fire unlock, which had daily unlocks beginning February 8th until April 7th, 2024. I don't know if you've looked at your calendar yet, but that date has passed. So that has officially ended. So that negative price action that you were expecting there, well, that's kind of gone now. We don't have to worry about that. And that's something really good if you're looking into projects. This is why I always say this, by the way. You'll see this very common theme in my videos where I always talk about the fact that these crypto projects, when they launch, you probably don't want to get into them. We saw Matr1X Fire when it launched, had a bunch of negative price action. Sure, you know, it went up after that. But for the most part, had you just waited a month or two, you would have had a much better and healthier entry than if you just bought it at $1.59 on the launch. So this is that time where the project has had a lot of those unlocks in the initial whole shebang, and now they're ready to kick it up a notch. Now let's talk about the team, because the team's kind of juicy here. They have several co-founders here that have all done $3 billion worth of gross revenue in the mobile gaming industry. This is a big Asia play. They have over 10 years experience in Web3 and Web2 companies from Tencent, etc., etc. Just absolute massive experiences. There's good reason why these brands are all investing into what Matr1X is going ahead and building, but you probably don't care. All you care is how do I make money off of the information that I've learned? I've got you. Don't worry about it. Don't even think about spending money. There is actually an airdrop that is happening right now on what is called Max. And, you know, Max is doing its little things, cooking, right? And Max is looking like it's a little bit of a different entity, because Max is actually, as you can see here, the governance token of the Matr1X platform, which is utilized in various scenarios like esports club, seat elections, voting rights in esports tournaments, vault allocations, certain operational and community activity voting, pricing tokens, etc., etc. Total supply is 1 billion. That's great and all. You earn this Max score by going to the link in the description and entering there. It's on the actual Matr1X Fire website. See this big old button on the top right that says Max Airdrop. Click on that thing and you're in to get some Max tokens. But let's go back to this little Fire thing, because you're probably wondering, like, I get it, it's a gaming project, they raised a bunch of money, but do they actually have a game? Yes, the game is called Matr1X Fire, and it's one of 3 games that they're building out right now, which if you actually look at their white paper, it's quite exciting because they have a little bit of a juicy thing called here an ecosystem fund. But here's the big ones. It's Matr1X Fire, which is going to be that FPS game that is hyper competitive, and then we have Matr1X Battle, which is going to be coming out later with the Matr1X Game Studio. They're also going to have this ecosystem fund, which is the very exciting part for people that are going to be holding Max, which will be investing and incubating into more high quality Web3 games. So it's not like they're just going to be launching these games and they're done with it all. This is what is called putting your eggs in a lot of different baskets. They've got the money to do it, and they're going to be incubating tons and tons and tons of different projects into what Matr1X is building. Their focus, however, right now is on Matr1X Fire, which they recently done an alpha test here for Matr1X Fire. Got over 20,000 users on there. They, by the way, have over 800,000 registered users overall on their platform. So clearly a lot of hype, a lot of people that are paying attention to what Matr1X Fire is building, content creators that have covered it. I think when it comes to ecosystems like this, it's like they're sleeping giants. They just wait until they're actually finally ready to launch their games, and then all of a sudden it makes sense as to why these brands are valued at where they're valued. In fact, if you look at where they're trying to go with in terms of their Fire token, it's kind of genius. They're trying to do the CSGO model, which Counter-Strike, if you didn't know, they do $36 billion worth of volume just with their loot boxes alone. So here's what they're doing. They're doing a blind box system. We actually have Saku here talking about the blind box systems. Matr1X Fire's basic token economy is play to own as well as a blind box, which is an innovative fusion model. And here's how it works. The character is the miner. They get the loot boxes and everything, right? In terms of avatars, the number of avatars can be increased by consuming avatars and Fire tokens. And there is an increase limit similar to Axie. The difference is that Matr1X avatars can also be used across the game, such as Matr1X Battle. So it could be used in different games. You can mine, Fire, and blind box. The blind box, they produce a certain number regularly, which is reset by seasons. The blind box that has been produced will not be produced again. It's very much like Counter-Strike. They have seasonals where you're getting a bunch of this specific loot box, and then the next season, you just don't get that loot box, and it becomes scarce, becomes something that increases in value over time as a result of that. So here's what they're trying to do. You're using $40 worth of Fire here to go ahead and grab this thing. And the cool thing about it is that different from all infinite output token models, the total amount of Fire is 1 billion. With the expansion of empowerment, tokens will have a certain deflation when the total amount of Fire output reaches the maximum. So when we hit the maximum output of Fire, it's going to become deflationary. And when not, it's going to go ahead and produce the Fire token. So there is an element of deflation on this, which I think is personally great. I also like the fact that they are using token models for specific games as well as on top of their game studio. So it's not like when you get into Matr1X Fire, you are in this predicament where there might randomly be some other game that might come in this token model and completely ruin it because it just doesn't work. Having an FPS game and then having a MMORPG in the same token doesn't really make a lot of sense. But when you have something like a game studio, which Max is going to be the token for that, the governance of it all, right? When you have something like Max and then you have the Matr1X Fire token under it, then you allow that token to control that game specifically and have all the creative freedoms that are needed to make this token model successful, which I think is exactly what all these games need. They also have really cool narratives. They have the AI narrative here where they're going to have AI players as well as an AI anti-cheating system. They also have esports, which is something that you can't understate because they recently had an event in Hong Kong, which had over 1.8 million views. Absolutely massive, $100,000 prize pool. So they're very serious when it comes to this stuff. I'm very bullish on Fire. I'm very bullish on Max, the entire Matr1X Fire team in general. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think this is a mobile gaming gem? As always, do your research, stay classy, and that's all.